I'm gonna go on a date with a hot ass guy tonight, cause you know what? This whole time, Katie, you were a cover up, baby. We are out of here. Cover up, Katie, cause I'm gay.
So now when we first met him, he came out of jail, right? Wasn't that where he first?
He sure did.
Yeah, but now it turns out just a gay dude.
Shout out, baby, Salt Lake County. Let's go. Woo! We up out of here.
Now he's just gay. Now the question, Welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. And welcome, everybody, Dr. After Dark. 818-253-1693 for those voice messages, which we will be getting deep into today. And, of course, more emails at drdrewafterdark@gmail.com. Don't forget the merch at store.ymhstudios.com. And thank you for all these. You're keeping me very challenged and deep in great questions. And as we went over last time, you can go find all the information you want. You still need to contextualize it and have somebody who's had experience with these things sort of confirm what you're reading and help put it in the context of the specific question you have. We got some interesting sort of body questions, people whose bodies are screwing up, both on voice message and email. And as I promised, we're going to get into this porn star. Her title is Porn Star Suffering from Love Addiction. So this should be very, very interesting. And of course, we've got some clips to get to as well that are very special today. Booth Boys, everybody good?
Hell yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
Good.
dude. What's
Yeah,
up? What's up?
man.
What's up? What's up?
Here's Zolo in the background too. Look at that.
I'm in
Zolo's
here.
Look at that, man. Okay, let's go to a voice message about weird body. Let's start with that. What do we got?
What's up, Dr. Glue, Booth Boys, Brady from Kentucky. Quick question. So whenever I'm sleeping, I don't sleep very much. I'm pretty active. I wake up in the middle of the night and find that both of my hands are numb. My fingers are numb. It almost brings up a burning sensation. It's been happening for the past 2 months. I have type 1 diabetes in my family, so I don't have it yet that I know of. But I looked it up on Google, and they said it could be a possible condition. Help me out with it. Appreciate it.
All right, play the opening sentence again for me. I just want to ask a question about a word he uses. Ready?
What's up, Dr. Glue, Booth Boys, Brady from Kentucky. Quick question. So whenever I'm sleeping,
Whenever I'm sleeping.
Uh-huh.
What is your thing with this whenever?
Did I bring this up before?
Yeah.
It drives me
You did.
crazy.
You bothers you that people say whenever instead of when?
But
Yes. Because it's when covers it. And when did when become whenever? It's just so odd, so weird to me that everyone goes,
Weird thing to get hung up on.
Whenever I was going to the grocery store, whenever is not when. It's something new, I'm telling you.
but
And it captured my ear every time.
Isn't that how
Isn't
language
it the
works?
same, though? It's a synonym.
It just kind of evolves.
Whenever is a synonym to when.
Let's break it apart. When is deterministic. When I sleep. When in that moment in time.
Correct.
Whenever could be whenever, anytime.
Well, okay,
anytime I sleep,
Right.
which is different than when I sleep. Anytime I sleep could be as long as I've slept my entire life. Anytime I've ever slept. Whenever I've slept. It should be whenever I had slept or whenever I have slept. Instead, it's whenever I sleep. It doesn't. The grammar's not even right.
But language evolves.
Wait, I'm confused. So you're saying that if I said when I sleep, that is indicating that
that determines when you were sleeping, something
Yes.
happens.
Right.
Whenever it's when it should be whenever I had or whenever I have.
But
Whenever is like a more than it's in French they call it the plus que parfait. It's the more than perfect
The
tense.
what phase?
Forget it.
No, because whenever is saying, it's you kind of replace when with if, right? It's like if ever I am asleep.
If ever,
so like
I like
Anytime I sleep.
anytime. Well, it's not any time though. That's the point because it's not always been the case. It's when I sleep now, my hands go to sleep.
Did you double major in medicine and English?
Grammar. I guess I had a lot of grammar training and I had a lot of language training, and so these things like strike my ear when they. I don't know. It's weird. So anyway, I'll stop being an asshole.
This sounds like a what you say nothing burger.
This is a nothing burger. I agree, but I've heard some I hear people use whenever in more distorted circumstance, and people who should know better, and that's when it really hits my ear. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
whenever
what did he
this
ask?
guy's-
I've forgotten the question
Whenever
already.
this guy sleeps, his hands go numb.
Okay,
For the
so-
last 2 months
so
or
here's
so,
the
he has
deal.
diabetes.
Typically, yes, you get peripheral nerve problems from diabetes, but that usually starts in your feet. You get numbness in your feet, you get numbness in your hands. That can happen. That's not likely what this is. The fact that it happens when you sleep, if it is on one side versus the other, if it's not symmetrical, that is typically carpal tunnel syndrome. Particularly if you wake up in the middle of the night and you do this. If you shake your hand out to get it to wake up, that's sort of a sign that you have carpal tunnel. It's usually one side more than the other, obviously, because it's usually not bilateral. Unless you have certain vitamin deficiencies or a thyroid problem, then you can get it in both hands. So the fact that you have endocrine disease in your family would want me, if I were evaluating you, I would check your thyroid to make sure that that wasn't why you were getting this in both hands. If you sleep with your hands over your head like this, that is more likely sort of a compression thing in your shoulder, and it's kind of normal. And if the numbness gets all the way into your arm and forearm, again, that's usually the blood supply is not quite right while you're sleeping with your hands over your head.
I have a follow-up to this,
Yeah.
actually. My hand, my right wrist, there was like a day, I don't remember when it was. There was a day where I popped this wrist. Let me see if I can do it real quick.
Uh-oh. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Are you? Oh, my goodness.
Too late.
He did
That's
it.
odd.
Too late.
It's weird.
So
he cracks like everything.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you look like you really hyperextended that. So, okay.
maybe.
Or hyperflexed.
But since that day, like I was a pop.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I gotta do that again.
Oh, it felt good. Okay.
But since then now, it's like anytime I could just
Yeah, that's kind of the way popping goes. Once it
So-
starts, it keeps going. Now, you might
It's like
have
ruffles.
there's possibly a tendon slip there. You can get tendons that move around, and they keep kind of slipping across each other. Hard to know. Hard to know. But yes, once things pop, they tend to keep popping. That's
Once
why.
you pop, you can't stop.
There you go. That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
it. Pringles.
That's it.
It was Pringles. That was yeah.
Here's
It's like you
another
can't just have one. That's ruffles.
another weird body question. I have a question about cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. I'm 23, smoke a lot of weed. One night I became severely nauseated, went to the hospital, diagnosed with cannabinoid hyperemesis. Most doctors and nurses I spoke with had either never heard of it or knew very little about it. I was wondering what you knew about this condition, if you could explain. Thank you. Touch my hot sauce through the fence. That's a nice twist, Kelby. Yeah, so we don't actually know what causes cannabinoid hyperemesis. It definitely occurs. It's exceedingly common. You smoke enough pot long enough, you will get it. It just happens all the
What is
time.
it? Cannabinoid what?
Hyperemesis syndrome. You just get a lot of vomiting. If you smoke a lot of weed and you're vomiting, it is from the weed.
That's
I promise.
so crazy. I've heard of one person that's had it.
My daughter had it.
Right. That's the person I've
Yeah.
heard that had it.
Okay. Well, I've seen lots of people with it. Lots of people. My
Right.
woman that cuts my hair had dated a guy who had it. It's very common. When you start asking people, you'll see how common it is. Some people get relief by taking a hot shower. I think I've talked about that before here. But the really only way to stop it is stop the weed. That's it. It's just unfortunate. It's a sign that you're in trouble, that you need to really pay attention to this. Give me another VM.
Hi, Dr. Drew. This is Jeff out of Texas. Just want to say thank you for, hosting this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just dive right into it. I've got a bloody asshole issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's been happening for about a month and a half to 2 months. I can't really keep track of it all that well, but essentially, I'm eating healthy. I'm exercising. I do take frequent steam showers every morning, but I can't get over this bloody asshole. I don't sit on the toilet too long. I looked into it a little bit, but not enough to, really figure this out. But, I eat healthy. I drink smoothies with fucking kale in it, and, I don't think it's a diet thing. I'm a young, 25-year-old young professional that just needs to get his asshole under wraps. Anything
Dude.
else?
No,
Thanks,
enough.
Dr.
Enough. You're welcome. Thank you for hosting this opportunity, as he said, so to talk about my bloody asshole. Dude, you said you're a 25-year-old young professional. Why don't you see a physician, for God's sakes? So there's a million things to worry about here. I mean, this could be colon cancer, for Christ's sake. In your age group, it's usually a internal hemorrhoid, but it can be a polyp. It can be colon cancer. It can be with something called arterial venous malformation. It can be colitis, either ulcerative colitis or Crohn's. It can be a lot of stuff. And the only way we find out is we go up, we look, and we biopsy the tissue. We find out what it is, unless they see the internal hemorrhoids, and then it's really pretty easy. But the bigger problem is you're going to get severely iron deficient and severely anemic with 2 months of blood loss like that. So immediately get on iron and immediately take a stool softener with that, because that will make the bleeding worse if you don't pay attention to that. But dude, go see a gastroenterologist or now, like right now. We've seen a marked increase recently in colon cancer in 20-year-olds. No one knows really why, but that has been a problem lately. So do not pass go. Do not wait. Go see a physician. Even if you don't have insurance, it's not going to cost a lot of money. It's not going to be a big deal. Hopefully it won't be cancer, because that would cost a lot of money. Let me see. Here's somebody with some neurological symptoms. I need to know if I'm totally talked. I've noticed that I can watch a movie, podcast, read a book, then a few months later have no idea what it's about, but I know that I liked it or didn't like it. I could rewatch it like I've never seen it before, and just as surprised at the plot. It's embarrassing. Do I need my brain checked? Thanks for reading this. I hope I don't hear this on the podcast. Kaylee. Yeah, Kaylee, I would check. I would see a neurologist. That is not normal for a young person. I assume she's not 75 years old. No, it's normal for an 80-year-old, but it's not normal for a 20-something. It can be normal. It doesn't mean you necessarily have pathology.
Normal for like a 30-something?
Oh, you have that? Well, you smoke so much weed.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's not like I usually like once I start watching it, it jogs the memory. I'm like, oh right, that's this one.
Right.
But it's like anything from 3 months ago, like especially if it's a movie or a TV show,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that I liked it. I can't tell you the real arc of.
So
stuff.
it's a example of a strange feature of memory. Is that very often we could remember the sort of the impact, the feeling, the bodily based experience. We can't remember the explicit thought or the explicit plot or have a screen memory of what it was. Some people have poor memories. That's just the way it is. Weed definitely affects memory for sure. Nadav is case 1, and maybe Kaylee has this, case 2. I don't know. But if you're not smoking a lot of weed and there's no reason for your brain not to be normal for your age group, I would see a neurologist just to be sure it's not something we should be doing there. That's all I'm saying. We'll keep another voice message.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Loose Boys. Hi,
Hey.
Dr. Drew.
Hi, Hitler.
My name is Shekinah, and I'm from Michigan.
Shekinah?
And I was wondering why sometimes I get, like, pimples on, like, the back of my head, or sometimes on top of my head. And usually if I tell them to go away, but there's just this one that's not going away. And sometimes, like, I'll pop it, and sometimes I can't. Let me know how you are. Bye.
Shekinah, so she sounds young. It's essentially, those things typically are carbuncles or furunculosis, essentially zits on your scalp, essentially. But sometimes you get cysts, and cysts are just these fluid-filled subcutaneous growths that sometimes they don't burst, and sometimes you should get them taken out, particularly if they're something called sebaceous cysts, because they'll keep getting big. The Dr. Pimple Popper, a lot of the stuff she's doing are giant sebaceous cysts. So,
whoa,
yeah, they're pretty nasty when they get really going. So, and they can leave imprints and dents and things if you don't take them out with their little.
It's only when they're sebaceous, or is it like what?
Any cyst, I would have.
Say you have something that is growing. Like, at what point should you start being worried? It's just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It keeps getting bigger for sure, but usually, like I get them in the back of my neck, and usually if they're gone within 2 weeks. Now they can persist. Sometimes they can become sort of scar. Like if you really messed with it, they'll turn hard and scar and sort of be a flat, persistent thing. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something that feels like a cyst, it's rounded, feels like a normal zip, but isn't popping and it's getting a little bigger. That's when you should have somebody look at it. We have a, we're talking about, what's wrong with my body, weird body functions, and, immediately makes me think about Annie, of course. And we have a.
Cool.
Yeah,
what do you mean? You think his body runs perfect, right?
No, I didn't.
Nothing's wrong with
you
Annie's
got to be
body.
careful with your language, Nadav. We say he doesn't need any evaluation for it. We've said it's intriguing and exceptional. I don't know about perfect. I worry. You notice I'm lately trying to get him to go a little more frequently. I'm worried about the colon contractile function.
That.
You do like that, huh? Maybe you should set up some sort of like special device for
bathroom
him.
and camera in the bathroom. I agree.
Not about camera, but here we are. I don't know, something.
I don't go here. If that's
you
what
wouldn't
you're-
do that. You would never do it.
No.
See,
Not in
okay.
a million years.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
Because I don't need to.
Okay, I understand.
No, he needs to. He just prefers not to. He wills himself not to.
Both
Exactly.
both
It's the
true.
same
Same
thing.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. Well, here's somebody that
Glad you agree.
that emailed us about a gas station, and the title of this is "Gas Station Won't Let Any Shit."
What?
Yeah. I'm writing to inform you of the egregious discrimination. It's discriminatory.
Wow.
I think it's a racist bathroom.
Unbelievable.
Conoco gas station in Cedar City, Utah. This is against any. This is an affront. As you can tell, this bathroom is pristine, perfect for any. You wouldn't go in it. Would you go to a gas station bathroom?
Never.
Never.
And I wouldn't call this pristine. There's quite a smear on the bottom right wall.
Okay, hold
Sure
on.
is.
Oh, you're showing it to me now. Please do not stand or hover over the toilet. I see. That's what they're really referring to. That the hovering. Oh my God! Look at the picture.
Yeah, that dude's fucking dancing. He's twerking on it.
But I
That ain't me.
mean, this sign is clearly for mainlanders. You know, this is how
Do not
mainlanders
stand
poop.
or hover over the toilet. This is a female toilet, though, right? This is a woman's toilet.
How could you
Female
tell?
toilet.
How could you tell?
Because
What is
women
it?
do a lot of hovering. Women hover. That's their thing. For
But I
pee.
mean-
For
Yeah,
pee.
but-
So
he's
do
standing on
so do
the-
Chinese mainlanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
It is like more of a European
Can you
thing.
zero in on the picture of the no hovering shot? Is there a way to do that? Because it's kind of
Not-
extraordinary.
Not currently.
Okay. Let's see. Let me continue to read this. It's perfect for any, but alas, Conoco specifically hates any, since no other humans shit like this. Much love. Love the shit talk. Your show's the best, Gavin. But Gavin, women pee like that, and so I think they're sort of going toward. And what's the other? What's the thing underneath it? What does
Wait,
it say?
do you not? Do you not? Hold on. He's gonna. zoom in
Oh,
on
do not remove this from the toilet if there is a problem of the lid. It's such a weird toilet bathroom. Okay, now go up. Here we go. Look at that. That really is.
Wow, they really highlighted please.
Yeah, please do not stand or hover over the toilet seat.
Because shitty bathrooms like those, the seat will break.
But not only that, shitty bathrooms like that, people don't want to expose any parts of their body to all of that whatever's going on that toilet seat, right? That is an attack on any, I'd have to say.
Something tells me you are not aware
Uh-huh.
of like the whole east side of the world does this. You know that, right? It's not me.
They hover. They don't stand on the rim, do they?
Mm-hmm.
They do stand on,
Really?
yeah, it's like a squat. That's how they squat. They squat and shit.
This is totally normal. Yeah.
Really?
And I imagine because again, no one ever
now wait a
taught
minute.
me.
No, wait, just hold on. I know that there's a lot of sort of holes in the ground type toilets of which you squat over.
Right.
But when
which is-
when that's the only option they have, though, then just the top of the toilet becomes where the hole is. So they're like, well, this is clearly where the feet go.
Right.
Why are we just having this conversation now? Did you guys just discover this?
No, I mean, I went to China like 2-3 years ago.
And you saw people standing on the rim of the toilet? You see
I saw those toilets where you're supposed to squat, like it's squatting toilets.
You're supposed to squat over
Yeah.
them. Are there
Those
like
ones that
2
are like-
feet on either side
It's
of
literally
it?
just a hole in the ground.
Yeah, the hole in the
and
ground.
then
I
a place
understand.
where your feet go.
I understand that.
Yeah.
No, but that's not a toilet bowl. They don't stand on the
Right,
rim
but
of the
for
toilet
people that have
bowl.
only shit in that kind of toilet, when they see I don't want to say like a Western toilet,
Yeah.
then they're like, well, the only way I know how to shit is squatting, and
Is that,
I don't know how.
are
the
you
fuck
assuming that's true, or do we know that to be
it's
true?
the sign.
Wait a minute,
The
have-
sign you just saw was
Yeah, it was evidence. I'll
Yeah.
grant you that.
Hold on. Has I don't know if he knows what you're talking about. That seat. You should probably pull it up because
A picture of the
because he doesn't just mean like the one that looks like a urinal that is on the wall. It's not like that. You'll see what he's talking about.
Whoa, let's see all those pictures.
I got you. Hold on,
Oh my God, look at all this. What?
like this one.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean it's
Oh.
it's on the ground, right?
Yeah, that's a squat toilet.
Yeah, I get it.
And
then
so when people have only shit in that, and then they see a normal toilet, they're like, well, there's only one way I know how to shit. So they just turn that above ground toilet into that.
Do we know that? Look at the far left squatting thing. Look at it's so funny.
What?
Look at
Far
that one.
This?
Oh my God, that's
no, he means
hysterical.
the red, I think.
No, whatever. In any event,
Mm.
that is. Oh my God, look at that. That's in Korea. That blue one. Let's put that one. The blue one. No, that. Please do not step on the toilet seat. And that's from Korea, right? Because people were doing that
That's
because
the culture
they're
over there.
so you literally have to get people to. You have to have a picture. We have to show people that picture, not that one, the blue one. That's extraordinary to me.
Everyone's seeing this.
They've seen it.
Everyone's
They're
seeing
seeing
Like
this. I know.
everyone's
I
seeing
know.
this right
No,
now.
I know. But this podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp, and a reminder that look, people are feeling overwhelmed and burned out these days, and they don't even realize that symptoms include things like lack of motivation, helplessness, fatigue, physical symptoms. I know with the lockdown and COVID, I've been feeling burned out. And of course, we associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause. Any of our roles in life can lead us to feeling burned out. And BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize your mental health and yourself. Talking with someone can help you figure out what is causing stress and what to do about it. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to, and much less you don't have to worry about meeting somebody in a waiting room. There should be no stigma to this. You should just take care of yourself. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Dr. Drew After Dark listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/afterdark. That is better, HELP.com/afterdark. Okay. So do we know perhaps that in Cedar City or wherever the fuck that is, do they have a large Asian immigrant population or something, you think? Cedar City, Utah. Very interesting.
Not sure,
to me.
but and I imagine, I mean,
very interesting.
I don't think there's any science to back this, but I imagine that because no one taught me that. No one showed me, hey, this is how you squat
I understand.
on a fucking toilet.
I get it.
I imagine I did it that way. I mean, nothing could prove this, but I imagine because I know Filipinos have all agreed that they do it like me.
Okay.
I'm Filipino. And I
it's
really
in your genes?
I really feel like that I just did the way I was meant to do it. Because it's never felt right the other way. I feel like a fucking idiot doing it.
Which of your parent is Filipino?
My dad.
Your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever instruct you to do that as a little kid or something maybe?
I don't think it's too early because that's what one when do people I don't know when you're
it's under 3 I'd say I
don't have memories that far back
so maybe that is where you got it
but there's no way they taught me to do that. No,
maybe
I highly doubt it.
I
can't imagine my dad's my dad was a tank of a dude, like 300 pounds of straight muscle. There's no way that motherfucker was sitting on he would break them immediately.
But maybe he'd seen so much of it growing up or something he just didn't even think anything of it and had you do some of that.
Well, here's the other thing, man. My dad left. He didn't really raise me. So
he was gone by...
more than likely, the person who showed me how to do everything
Your mom.
was my mom. Yeah. And she's white. So she definitely doesn't shit like that. So I don't think anyone taught me. I think that's just what felt natural for me.
White.
She's white. She's a white as white gets.
Okay, well, fascinating. Although when we first discovered your behavior, you associated it with fear of the drain.
No, I think you associated it with fear of the drain because you were so confused on why I did this, and so we were kind of figuring out what it could have been. And you said something about the drain, and I'm like, oh, I do have this thing where I don't like putting my hand in holes that I can't see the other side of, and you're like, that's what it is.
Well, at very least, maybe that's true, and at very least, it's why you haven't been interested in changing your behavior. Maybe it isn't the source, but maybe it's why you haven't adjusted into any other position.
No, because I don't. I don't like the other position.
Yeah, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay. And why? What I'm curious about is why are you educating me about other countries gargoyling now if you've known this all this time?
What do you mean?
Why haven't we discussed this sooner?
I just realized as you were arguing with him.
Yeah.
That you couldn't have known because you were I forget what you were saying.
We were talking about the picture on the
because you were like I thought that this was gonna be a joke that they don't want Annie to be in there, but you were serious. I'm like, wait, so maybe you don't know.
I didn't
thought
know.
You knew.
No, I didn't know.
Well, that's why
I did not. I still am trouble. I'm still.
I thought you were cultured. I thought
I thought I was too, but I can always learn something. Trust me. But the only one that convinced me was that dual picture one that says do it like this, not like this, because that means people are doing it like that.
Right.
They're gargling. Okay.
Right.
Well, I stand. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is white supremacy on display. That's what this is.
It?
No, it's
I don't
not.
think
It
so.
is-
I
it
don't
is-
think this is.
It is
that.
at least. It is at least Euro. Listen. It is at least Eurocentrism.
What do you mean? How?
Because I did not know that. It didn't occur to me, and
How is that white supremacy?
because I didn't contemplate that was another cultural thing, and that's when you don't think about other cultures. That's putting your culture in a prominent position.
Can't we just call that ignorant?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's the same
Oh,
as white
yes, you can.
But I don't think that's white supremacy.
I understand. I mean, I
You
think
know what I'm
you're-
saying?
I think you're taking a very heroic, response to say something like that
Yeah.
because essentially that is what could lead to white supremacy.
Well, it's
because
you know who taught me this?
Because it starts with that's weird.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it could lead to like you're wrong, you're dumb, you're whatever.
You know who taught me this was Frederick Douglass. Read Frederick Douglass's speeches if you're white. I strongly recommend it. He will help you understand how unfortunately the white supremacy term sounds like somebody aggressive with a skinhead and all that stuff.
Sure
does. That's not what Frederick Douglass was talking about. He was not. He was talking about not taking into account him and his experience and people like his experience when you make decisions. That's what he's really talking about. And
it's kind of the standardization of whiteness.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's not contemplating an alternative, not position, but interpretation or experience. And you have to watch it. And it's not just white people. I mean, it's everybody. All humans have to watch it. But I wish we could come up, maybe this is the place to do it, come up with another term for white supremacy because that's what that is. It really is white supremacy.
Not. I don't think so.
Frederick Douglass, go read his speeches. You tell me if your scales don't fall from your eyes. But what but what should we call it? What should we call it is the question.
Ignorance. I think
ignorance. Yeah, but
ignorance.
Ignorance sounds like a cognitive thing, like we're dumb. And it's not about being dumb. It's about not being aware.
Ignorance is bliss in a way where it's just like, oh yeah, I just don't know these things, and so that I'm not freaking out about something that I don't know. Ignorance is bliss.
But it's also the comfort in ignorance. I think
you have to. You're right.
Like
you're right.
Further.
You have to be. This is back to your thing on focus again too. Mm-hmm. You have to be focused on the fact that you have a point of view and be constantly vigilant that there might be another interpretation, and be checking yourself all the time. Right. And I need, for me, I need to look at the don't shit this way pictures to expand my view of the world. It's not disgusting. It's kind of to me it's exciting. This is the part I would encourage. Look, last time we were talking about any and positive affirmations and stuff. This is in that same zone, which is be excited to change your point of view. Be excited to be. If you're ignorant, it's great news. It's really good news. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable, but it's great news. You're going to expand your view of the world. You're going to learn something. And if you've been very adamant about your point of view, think about part of the reason if you have been dogmatic about your point of view, and all of a sudden it's challenged, and you push back on that challenge. Let's say I kept pushing back on this, like I don't believe it. That's cognitive dissonance. That's called cognitive.
Like what?
Like Nadav, you mean?
Yeah, he's just like that. Exactly.
What was I doing?
Nothing.
You're saying that it's not. You don't agree. This isn't
right. I don't agree that this is white supremacy.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, like that.
So that's cognitive dissonance, right?
Oh, I see.
And you kind of, and instead of being, and really what you're fighting back against is, I'm ashamed of myself for having been so dogmatic and certain of something that really wasn't right. So just check yourself all the time. I'm guilty of it. I don't know how else to say it more strongly.
Hold on. So was it
don't
white?
be hubristic. You don't have hubris. Don't be certain all the time, and be open to other points of view. That's all I'm saying. This is the time for this. This is the rational revolution, everybody. This is the core principles.
So was it white supremacy for me to say that wasn't white supremacy?
Yes.
Fuck you, dude.
It's 100%. 100%. I like the fact that it's been a while since I've told you guys to fuck off too. It's good. Now you're telling me to fuck off. All right, we have a very special clip show planned for you today. Tell them about it, Mr. Announcer.
Yeah, so I'm trying to not do the voice.
Don't do the voice.
I don't know why I was doing that, but today's theme and the clips that we're gonna watch is just kind of an update on some of our favorite YMH All-Stars.
I've been missing. Listen, you know, those of you that are now watching YMH in the new studio, I walked through that gallery and I just want to see all the old stuff. I just so badly want to revisit. So this is a treat for me. I hope it is for you. What do we got?
All right. So our first update is on Tony Johns. Do you remember Tony Johns?
I do.
All right. Here's the update.
Uh-oh.
You know what, Katie? I'm flaming gay. You were a cover-up this whole time. We are out of here. I'm actually gay, baby. So you know what? On to the next. I'm gonna go on a date with a hot ass guy tonight. Cause you know what? This whole time, Katie, you were a cover up, baby. We up out of here. Cover up, Katie. Cause I'm gay.
What's he drinking? Is it like one of
Mike's
the hard cider
lemonade.
Oh God, that's hysterical. So now when we first met him, he came out of jail, right? Wasn't that where he first?
He sure did.
Yeah, and he was hypersexual and weird and exploitative, and now it turns out just a gay dude.
Got out, baby. Salt Lake County. Let's go. Woo! We up out of here.
He seems real happy.
It's the weekend, baby. Let's get it. Salt Lake County, baby.
Now he's just gay. Now the question, the question is the gay a beard for just getting rid of this girl, or was Katie actually a beard for his fear of being homosexual?
Well, you know,
What do
I
you
think
think?
it probably relates to this first video
You
that
know,
we
like
had.
dead ass though. Like breakups are hard.
I think he's breaking up with Katie.
Oh, no, I
And
didn't get that.
Yeah, and the way to make him feel like it's not like a
No,
like
is
it's
it
a her fault thing.
Is it to make him feel that way, or is it to get rid of her? Like there's no hope. In fact,
I think it's like a "I'm not thinking about you" type of message that he's putting out. He's like, "Yo, it doesn't even bother me that you dumped me because guess what?
oh, she
I'm
dumped
gay."
him. She dumped him.
I imagine.
Okay, so right. It's either that. It's either Nadab's interpretation, or so we're not. So none of us believe he's gay. Is that right? Any of us believe he's actually gay?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nah.
So
actually gay,
like
baby.
nah. So although there is certain, the eyebrows and the chains
I'm
and
flaming gay.
That's honestly what I was saying. Like he's very in touch with himself.
he's
like,
groomed. He's carefully groomed.
mhm.
And so we have different votes here. So Annie's saying possibly gay.
Possibly gay.
Nadav is saying, Katie, fuck you. Like it's just a way of
Right.
blowing her off.
He's like, I'm not even thinking about
I'm saying it's a way of getting rid of Katie. He's the one breaking up. You're saying she's the one
you.
breaking up.
Like you think that's his tactic in breaking up is just like, hey, I'm gay, don't even call me.
Exactly. So
I don't think he would
I
want
think-
unwarranted like, hey, you want to just like
I think
fuck or
all
something?
three are possible. I think, and I don't know how we decide amongst them. How do we do this? How do
You're
we
gonna have to
decide?
call him.
Either that, or I got to make a home call, a visit.
God.
Where does he live? Where did he
Salt
say?
Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
I don't think you want to go there though.
Don't want to see this guy?
No,
I
I
have
wouldn't
a fe-
recommend it.
Yeah, I
Has
have a
he been in
feeling-
touch with any of your mom's house world? Does he
a
know
little-
that he's
a little
scrutinized?
bit. Like
One
it's
time.
we've gotten very weird vibes.
Yeah.
Has he contacted you?
I believe so.
Fuck.
I don't know if he contacted us directly, but he definitely like sent a message out, and it wasn't a nice message.
Mhm.
It was don't stop fucking with him, sir.
No, it was
No.
aggressive.
Yeah,
It was
it's
aggressive.
not good.
Nah.
Well, why are you putting me in this position then? Okay.
We're not.
All
you
right.
just put your.
All right.
You're like, how do I?
Thank you, Tony. We don't want anything to do with you. We don't know whether you're gay or not. We wish you the best. Either way, gay's good. Listen, gay is a better version of the male. We know that. So congratulations. So here we go. All right. Who else we got an update on?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that was nice.
good morning,
and fun.
Julia. What happened to that guy? Do we know?
Well, we don't have an update on him.
Do we have any idea what happened to him? Did he ever contact
I
you?
don't think he got together with Julia.
It's for some reason Tony, John, and that guy kind of go in the same slot in my memory banks. I don't know why. Similar, aggressive, creepy, talking
I don't
to
think the
chick
Good Morning
vibe.
Julia guy was as aggressive as Tony, but also
Different,
it's
different.
very different approaches.
Different, yeah, different,
Different.
yeah, different. But
Different.
equally
They're
as
both gay, maybe.
well, just sort of, I would say not, just sort of completely off in their relating with women. You know what I mean? Just could not be more off in terms of providing a woman what they want.
But
I mean,
I
isn't
think
that-
Tony does get with women. I'm not. Maybe the other guy gets less with women. I'm not
I've
sure.
only seen videos of Tony annoying women,
Right.
not actually being with them.
That's right.
That's a fair point.
That's right.
So like,
Or is that
putting
guy's-
himself in their vicinity, but not actually getting.
You don't think
them.
Tony fucks?
I mean, hey, I don't know. He probably fucks dicks. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Or as the
Okay.
see, Andy's in that camp strongly, but as that guy that was doing the motivational speaking to desperate men last week, he's a beta. He's a beta, just like that
A
guy
beta.
said.
Oh,
Yeah.
you think Tony is a
Tony's
beta?
a beta?
Oh, that's fucking hilarious because of the videos he puts out.
I know.
He would hate to hear that.
You would not like that.
All right, here we go. Oh, no, do we know what he's in prison for?
DUI, baby.
DUI.
Well, okay, there you go.
All right, you want an update on the next cool guy?
Yeah.
All right, you remember Kevin Samuels?
I don't remember the
Maybe
name.
when you see him.
Okay.
On a scale from 0 on 1 to 10, you can't
yeah.
use 7. What would you rank your looks?
Oh, yeah.
Fresh face out of the shower, your natural hair.
A 10.
Your face?
Yes. A 10. I'm always going to give myself a 10. I'm not going to ever give myself.
All right. So there we go right there, people. That's all you need. You see all the hearts people losing? See, you can cap all you want to, but you're not an international supermodel. You're not an international, and I'm just trying to ask you, see, up until this point, I feel like you've been pretty reasonable. But now, if you want to do that, I think we should probably end it because I don't play those games.
You know, he seems reasonable here, I gotta say. It's harsh.
He's kind of reasonable in most things. That's not how Annie thought you were going to call this one.
Yeah. I think it's harsh.
I thought you were really not gonna like this.
No, because I do believe
It's a dose of medicine.
No, I'm not sure he's the one to do it, and I'm not sure this is okay to do it to this poor girl, but I really believe people need to be real about reality. They need to do self-assessment, and if they don't like what they see, do the best with it and improve it and do the best you can with it. And same thing with the world. I am very unhappy that the world has been seen through some weird prism for the opposite of the rational revolution. Part of the rational revolution is looking at yourself realistically. She's an attractive woman. She might be a 10 for somebody too, by the way. The guys, you can never tell what, guys have their zones. It's the shit they really like. And she could definitely be that for somebody. But for her to say that she's, there's nobody better looking than her, well, that's just not true. It's just false.
And there's a lot more to this too.
Uh-oh. Does it get bad?
I'm doing something for a good reason.
Uh-oh.
And I'm trying to be helpful. But, man, you and Rihanna walk into the room, don't nobody confuse you.
And who?
You're not a 10.
Rihanna.
You're not a 10.
Rihanna.
You're not a 10. You're not a 10. But
Stop.
The point.
And by the way, there's guys out there that don't think Rihanna's attractive, right? Even though she is kind of a 10, there are guys that, like, she's not so much my thing. Like, I could see where a guy could go, I'm not really that, I don't know. But that's objectively doesn't make any difference. She's still a 10. That's a different issue. So go ahead.
Right. Like, that's just not for me.
It's not my 10, right?
He's talking about universal.
He's talking
attraction.
about assessing yourself, knowing where you fit on the scale. She's got a lovely smile.
Rihanna's beautiful though, but
granted, but on a scale from 1 to 10, you can't use 7. What do you rank your face?
Okay, I'll give it 8.
Okay.
I'll give it 8.
Okay.
You put yourself up there with Beyonce. Beyonce's an 8. Kelly Rowland's a 9. Rihanna's a 10.
Beyonce.
Hell,
That's
Sweetie is
him
an
now.
adjustable 6.
Adjustable.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
When was the last time you had a guy with suicide doors rolling up trying to marry you?
With suicide?
Okay, when was the last?
Yeah, the doors that open. Do they open up out like that, reverse, or do they open up?
What's
They
he talking
they
about?
open out backwards. It's just the doors that
Fancy doors.
doors
Fancy
that open up the other way, like
Like
fancy-ass doors,
car doors we're talking about?
Mhm.
Car
Okay.
doors.
okay.
Like Lamborghini doors. Or,
It's called a suicide door?
Suicide doors are the ones that go out. Butterflies are the ones that go up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not a
they
business.
open
See,
from the wrong-
this is ignorant. This is not white supremacy. This is ignorance that I'm displaying right now.
Sounds
So-
like white supremacy to
Well,
me.
no.
No, this is ignorant.
I mean, I could tell you as a black man, this is just dumb nigga shit. We just like opening doors. Sooner or later, we gonna find the diagonal one. We gonna call that fucking scissors or some shit.
That's funny. All right, here we go.
Last time, your child's father, what do you do for a living?
He worked for Metro, the maintenance supervisor.
Maintenance supervisor. So he's a middle class worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, due respect, a woman who's an 8, 9, or 10, they don't get middle class maintenance supervisors.
Sometimes. This is harsh and sad again. This is getting back to sad.
Beautiful people.
Ma'am,
you're thinking
we're
what
talking
people
about
thought.
you.
Okay.
You've been
What's
you
that,
your
Eddie?
entire life.
Now you're feeling how I figured you'd feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sad.
Yeah.
You call yourself an 8.
Yes.
No.
If Sweetie is a 6,
Ma'am, you're not.
I think
Ma'am,
she's 10. So
ma'am, you're beneath that number.
Mm.
You're not above that number.
Pretty cool.
He is a cool guy. He's a cool guy. How did we first meet him? What was he talking about? I forget.
More of this type of stuff.
Was he talking to somebody else
Yeah.
though?
There was a overweight girl that was on the phone with him, and he was like, he's doing the same thing. Like, okay, tell me why you deserve a 10 out of 10 man. She was like, oh,
I got
you got
you.
it.
Yeah,
you got it.
I'm 5'3".
How much do you weigh?
Oh yeah, here he is.
That's none of your business. I told you I was fat.
Oh, okay. We don't play that shit on my channel.
Oh, now I remember him. Yeah,
Get
yeah.
your big fat ass on somewhere.
Oh God,
I don't
he's
deal with
actually
big-
softened up a bunch. He's gotten better. He's still very direct and harsh, but not so.
The meanness still penetrates just as gruesomely, I think.
Because otherwise, people are just getting built up. It's the secret. You just imagine it is so. It's not really true. But having some of that is good. All right, let's see. I want to see a couple more All-Stars. I'm not quite done with them.
Hey everybody, Garth Brooks.
And Trisha Yearwood.
And we're proud to say we stand with Ukraine, especially the refugees.
There's a global initiative, and of course, supplies and aid is already spread thin. And this is where you come in. We need your help. We need you to donate.
Yeah, I mean, we always ask for love and prayers. Please keep doing that. But we're also going to ask you, dig in your pockets. Be part of the greatest global relief plan mankind has ever seen.
Everybody deserves dignity. Everybody deserves a roof over their head to feel safe. You can be a part of that.
Yeah, amen. So join us, won't you? Stand up for love.
Stand up for mankind.
Stand up for Ukraine.
Standing up for Ukraine's a pretty laughing matter to Garth, isn't it?
Poor Garth.
Did you hear that?
He's trying so hard.
So join us, won't you? Stand up for love.
Stand up for mankind.
Stand up
That's
for
funny.
Ukraine.
Stand up for mankind. But that's the part that's so creepy. He's so disconnected. I'd have no idea. You could easily say it's a discomfort being in front of a camera, right? That's kind of what it looks like. Dude's in front of a camera all the time. So there's no way that's what it is. If it is, then he needs to get some phobia training.
I think maybe just like his boss on the spaceship that's like coming around the Earth is coming around. He's just like, all right, Garth, I got some notes for you
that's
on how
exactly
to be more like a human.
That's what it seems like, right? That's so. It's so weird.
Right,
It's,
it's Uncanny Valley shit.
It's Uncanny
Something's
Valley.
off
It's
and we're not
did I say
sure.
that before about him?
Well, we've always talked about
but I mean, in regards to
Valley
him, because this was the most Uncanny Valley display I've seen him do. He's always been kind of this way.
He's always been uncanny.
Yeah, and I've been trying to figure out what it was, but this was Uncanny Valley shit. All right, this is an email I'm going to spend some time working on. This woman, Jane, sent me an email, and it was I thought more pertinent to this show, and it's the kinds of things we talk about here, and it's a big topic, okay? She said, I'm a fan, especially after watching you on H3, so you know I was on H3 with Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein.
Right.
And the Trash Tuesday podcast, which I've talked to you guys about before. I appreciate your insight. I'm 23. I've been an adult film star since I was 19. This was following going through a rough experience after being human trafficked at 18. Then I made a decision to get into porn right after that. I'm reaching out because I've been depressed. I have really bad anxiety. I've recently found out about something called sex and love addiction. I feel very strongly that is what is wrong with me, particularly the love part. I struggle with self-esteem, never had a successful relationship. I tend to become obsessive over people. I'm interested in a idealization, then devaluation, part of that sex addiction thing. I protect myself that way from pain or rejection. I've always been like this. Being in porn also made it more obvious and worse. I'm not sure if you'll personally read this or not. I'm wondering if you have any advice or words for someone in my position. I'm content with my life and job, but I feel like something is always missing, and I'm very unsettled and unhappy internally. Okay. So she talks about being human trafficked at 18. I'm going to bet that she had some sexual trauma earlier in life, but if she didn't, okay. But that's typically in this kind of story. And the thing that sexual trauma does is it motivates us to act out again and again. People often, after sexual trauma in childhood, become hypersexual or sometimes hyposexual, where they don't want sex at all, or bipolar. They fluctuate between hypersexuality and low sexuality. The interesting thing about trauma, I mentioned before on this show, which is that trauma creates attraction. When somebody traumatizes us when we're young, we tend to be attracted to people like that. No one knows why this occurs, but it's why things recur in our lives over and over again. Now, in your case, you're talking about idealizing people. So you take people that, for instance, might be, if you were abandoned as a child, that kind of thing. You might take people that are abandoning and think you're seeing something great in them and they're wonderful and I'm in love with them. And then they, of course, oblige you by abandoning. Or you find somebody that you're kind of attracted to and they really are available for a relationship, you will devalue that person in order to sabotage the relationship so you're not exposed to vulnerability. So vulnerability is really what this is all about, right? And being afraid, and the sort of the love addiction is part of this. You know, women often come to sex addiction through love addiction. And love addiction is essentially, I mean, adolescents go through this. Many of us have been through it at some one time in our life, not, but you over-idealize somebody, you get intensely attached to them, and you can't imagine being without them. You have this idealized bond with them. You immediately fall in love with them. You're, sort of completely fused with that person and experiencing yourself through them at all times. And of course, that gets to be a little heavy for people, and they often won't hang out for that, and they kind of pull away, and you freak out, you cling harder, and they eventually abandon. And now you've reenacted that abandonment cycle again, right? And with one way to defend against love addiction is with sex. Unfortunately, you probably are not going to be able to stay with this career if you want to really recover from this, right? It's really hard. It's almost like saying you're an alcoholic and a bartender, or an alcoholic and a wine salesman, have to drink wine all day. Certain things you can't do in your life if you have a certain kind of addiction. You have to remove yourself from those environments in order to heal, because these are very tender parts of ourselves that are profoundly injured. And what happens to us as a result of that injury is those parts, you've heard me talk about this before in the show, get walled off. They're literally, you don't have the wiring to connect with that. Though that part of yourself that is walled off and somewhere else, and you don't have any direct experience with, you're not feeling it, it's not communicating with you, it still will direct your behavior and help. It will be uncanny in terms of the things that you're sort of attracted to and want to do. And that'll be that part of yourself, again, trying to get some attention through the only means it knows how, which is, again, sort of reenactments. And so really what we have to do is get you to stop the behaviors, right, that are sort of these patterns of behavior that are reenactments and acting out behaviors and re-injuring you. We have to stop all of it. And then we have to get in touch with those parts of yourself there are trauma therapies out there like EMDR, that kind of thing. And ultimately, I always think in terms of not just EMDR, but also being able to tolerate the frame of closeness with another human. And it is in that closeness that you will, like last show we said, bringing things into the room. Things will come into the room of that relating between the two of you, and you'll be able to look at them and tolerate them in new ways. And they would not enter your consciousness without that frame of closeness. It's too threatening, it's too intense, and we can't tolerate it by ourselves. And we're actually not wired to be able to do it by ourselves. It's only in interpersonal context when somebody relating with you and creating a safe frame for you can bring it into the frame, bring it into the room with you and look at it, and you start to realize, oh, that's always been there. I see it. Oh, my therapist is experiencing it, and maybe I can tolerate experiencing it too. That's kind of how that works. Did I explain that in a way that makes sense?
I think so. So are you saying that she should do more therapy and maybe do a little less
porn, more therapy,
yeah.
less porn? I'm saying, but much like the alcoholic has to stop drinking, she's going to have to go cold jerky for a little while. And
jerky.
There you go.
True.
And not, it's an old Loveline term, and not do the porn so much. And you got to be ready for all this. And no one is passing judgment on anything you've done. You've been in survival mode for a long time. And I'm sure the human trafficking at 18 has also left you with PTSD. As you said, you're depressed and anxious, which is normal when you've had this kind of trauma, and then you're re-traumatizing yourself with these relationship problems. And you should have that treated. The idea, sometimes recovery is not even possible if you don't deal with some of the mood and anxiety problems and sleep problems that no doubt you're having as well. These are very, very, very complicated issues, but there are people that actually specialize in treating this stuff. Love addiction is really common. It's sort of in the zone of codependency. There's a great book called Overcoming Love Addiction. Maybe put it up on the screen here. Overcoming Love Addiction by, I think Pia Mellody wrote that book. Remember right? Let's see. Overcoming Love Addiction. Facing Love Addiction. I always get it wrong. Facing Love Addiction by Pia Mellody. And it is, you will see there are cycles to these things of, as you've noticed, overvaluing and devaluing, being attracted to abandoning people or sabotaging. that's sort of in the love addiction cycle. And then oftentimes people will get so sort of desperate that they'll back on into sex addiction. And in sex addiction, they sort of have control over some of this stuff. And then that becomes a cycle of similar kinds of tension and then trauma, frankly, on the other side. Heavy stuff.
So you
stuff.
think EMDR is the most effective way to
EMDR
speeds
speeds things up. EMDR speeds things up.
But why is that because like you're because it's literally like it's the
some of it
stuff, right?
it's lateralizing. It's getting at your parts of your brain that your brain won't go naturally. And so it's all
like a
about
cheat way to like tap into some stuff that you didn't
exactly.
know you had.
It's again in the sort of zone of hypnosis, but it's conscious and present, so it's really not hypnosis. And it's eye movements, tapping, clicking, that kind of stuff. It's a way of releasing some of the. I think it more in terms of gaining access, and it releases some of those parts of yourself that are walled off. And we just won't do it by ourselves. We won't. Without EMDR or other kinds of trauma therapies, it's a long process. It takes a long time. And
stand up for love.
That's right. Just stand up for love. That's what we should do.
Just trying it out.
All right. I think that's what I wanted to say about this. That's enough of my diatribing on it. Did I say everything? Jane, I hope you do okay. Not uncommon. It's a very common thing. And you may have some personality stuff in here too. If you remember, I was talking to Trisha Paytas about that stuff. And she was getting something called dialectical behavioral therapy to help her sort of manage some of her quirks as a personality problem she has. And she talks about it quite openly.
I mean, being human trafficked when you were 18 or however young she was is like, that'll imprint some damage for
no shit.
Probably a lifetime.
I mean, well, it's interesting. Trauma, it's like grief in the sense that sometimes it never goes away. But you can live with it and you can be better because of it. It can motivate you to grow in ways that you might not have otherwise. And, it's funny. I sometimes people, I don't know how to say this without, I don't wish any of this trauma on anybody, but sometimes the trauma makes you find real meaning in being able to help other people in ways that you couldn't have had you not been traumatized. That's the way I'd say it. Okay.
I have a super quick question.
Ooh, something.
If you are that type where, what is it? The love
addicted, I
guess, where it's like everything is super crazy, super fast.
Codependency goes along with that, by the way. I sort of have to finish that thought, which is codependency, love addiction, bad boundaries. These are all kind of the same. And by the way, none of these things are diagnoses. They're not diagnoses. They are constructs to help people understand some of the things they're experiencing and also to give us sort of models for how to help them out of it. But go ahead, Danny.
I was just curious, what is your, would you be afraid or happy or concerned? And what would be your advice to if two of those people found each other and now they are doing that to each other? Because generally the concern is you do it to one and the other person's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is crazy. This is very intense.
Healthy people run away, but it's like codependency. Usually there are bookends or there are two sides of the same coin. There's the addict and the codependent. So the sex addict and the love addict tend to find each other, right? And that kind of gets the love addict into sex addiction. The drug addict and the codependent find each other. The borderline and the sociopath find each other. There's certain things that fit together with humans in terms of attractions and what they like, what fits together. And the love addict usually finds somebody that has, the narcissist, right? The narcissist would love that, right? You idealize me, it's me,
right? So, but then so my concern or my question is, do you run away from that? Is that
should you run away from a love addict?
If I was or if she was and we found each other. And now we're we both are very happy.
Yeah, you should enjoy it in the short term. It's not going to end well.
Wow, no matter what.
I don't know about no matter what. No, I wouldn't say no matter what, because the point you're making is actually a good one, which is you can have love addiction light and sex addiction light and really be good. If it's not too much, if it's not too much stuff going on. But if it's bad, I mean, this email, it's somebody who's really, I think, struggling with this stuff. And it's probably pretty intense. But if you have modest, because all of us have some of this stuff going on, right? And if it gets to be a problem where the relationship's not working, that's something that therapy would really work for to get the couple together. You'd have, the certain things you're bringing that aren't just big there, but they're, making things not work quite the way they should. And you can just create a secure attachment between those two people, and a lot of their stuff will settle down. It does work. It does happen.
I'm curious, would it be crazy to say that two people that find each other under those types of circumstances, or that kind of have that connection, would you recommend they go to therapy even before it gets bad? Like, just as it's good to go to therapy, make sure this is healthy or some shit?
Yeah. I mean, they call that premarital counseling. People do that. Oh. Because here's where my head's at with this. I really believe, remember I showed you guys a few weeks ago the triangle, the triangular theory of love and stuff. Well, remember I said passion was a big part of that? Well, passion is involved in all this stuff we're talking about when it's mild, when it's just a bit. That's where passion comes from. Passion is sort of the not healthy parts of ourselves attracted to each other. It kind of is.
Right.
But when those are big and associated with real trauma, it doesn't work. It tends not to work. It unravels. But if it's mild and the relationship is working and people are willing to work on the relationship and they're committed, it works. It works. So I can see how for an average person, what I'm saying could be kind of confusing, because how much does he mean, and how much should I have? If you have real trauma, I mean, if you've had sexual abuse, that's an easy one. You need to get therapy by yourself. You need to get reintegrated, because that sexual abuse will disintegrate parts of you in almost all cases. Not 100%, but it's very hard to get through that as a child without leaving an imprint on the body. As Vessel van der Kolk says, the body keeps the score. It leaves a thing on your body that can be treated. But let's say you were neglected. Well, okay, people get through that. Or let's say you were physically abused a little bit. People get through that and don't have to have long-term consequence. Somebody picks up an object and hits you where you think like you could get killed. Now you're into a zone where you need treatment. If the neglect was so bad that you couldn't feed yourself and you didn't, when you wonder if you're going to go on surviving, when the child has those kinds of possibilities in their mind, that's when they shatter, and that's when things get tough. That's when that stuff needs to be treated. Okay,
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy. Have I brought this show down?
No, I think this has been a very chipper, cheery episode.
Been very interesting. I hope you guys are interested in this. I got lots more stuff to get into. We'll do it next week. We didn't finish the All-Star clips. Am I going to do more All-Star clips next time? Is that possible? Can I finish them next time?
We'll figure it out.
Because I want to see Unc shine. I want to see what happened to him. Can we do it?
Yeah, possibly.
All right. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm very excited.
He meant right now, I think, right?
I did mean right now, but he clearly.
Oh, I thought you meant for next.
Well, I did mean I'll take you either now or next time.
Which one do you mean? Because we said opposite
he means
things.
Right now.
I meant right now. First I said next time, and then I said, well, what about right now? Because you kind of dismissed me on next time, and I was like, God damn it, I want to see Unc shine.
I'll show you an Unc shine video.
All right, one of these.
All right, I got something for somebody. Oh, yeah. For them Chinese. Yeah, them ching.
Oh, no.
That's my baby. Yeah, I'm in love with the ass. Yeah, girl, I'm in love with your ass. Yeah, ching. Them Chinaman. Yeah. Them Vietnamese. Whatever.
So that's what Unc Shine's up to.
Oh, Unc. He's getting a little bit towards King and Queen above 18 because he's like building you all up. He just does it in very bizarre ways.
I think he's his own lane.
He is his own lane. There's no doubt about that. But he's in a very well-kept environment. Maybe he's not cool anymore. I think he's cool.
He's cool, dude.
Is he? Do you know what I'm saying though?
Unc Shine is cool as shit, dude.
But cool. You see, he's got a clean kitchen. Is somebody taking care of him? Do we know anything about where he lives and who he lives with?
Yeah.
You can't tell me?
He's got some help.
He has help.
Okay. So it'll help because like assigned by the state because he needs help?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're doing it. They're helping him. That's
Super
good.
Fun episode.
I like. All right. All right, everybody. 818-253-1693 and drafterdark@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. All conversations and information exchanged during participation of the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the DrDrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.